When did you buy your first e-cigarette?
I bought my first e-cigarette probably a year or two ago.
And which one did you first buy?
I bought the Sworn first, but now I have a Juul.
When you were buying it, were there a lot of options or colors or sizes?
Yeah, if you go into the store, there's a lot of different colors that you can get it to make it more appealing, and then there's stickers and ways you can personalize it.
Did you smoke cigarettes before you bought your Juul?
I would smoke cigarettes socially with my friends if we were going out or just hanging out, but really not very often.
Do you want to consider yourself addicted to nicotine?
No.
Prior to the Juul, at least.
Prior to the Juul, no.
Did the smell of cigarettes kind of make you not want to smoke cigarettes?
Not really. I think it was more the hype around Juuls that kind of made it more popular than a regular cigarette.
But would you ever smoke cigarettes daily?
I wouldn't smoke cigarettes daily, no.
Do you think the flavors make the e-cigarettes more appealing to young adults, especially in high school and college?
I do think the flavors make it way more appealing, especially if you don't like the smell or taste of tobacco or menthol. They have fruity flavors, which just kind of make it more appealing, like the better option.
So what made you go out and buy your Juul initially?
I bought my Juul first because all my friends had them, and it kind of seemed like the better option than smoking cigarettes.
So it was definitely something like word of mouth rather than like a want or addiction.
Right. I would have never gone out of my way to get it if I had not known so much about it or tried it one of my friends before I bought it.
Consider yourself addicted to it, or at least like the nicotine that goes into it?
Yes, I always have my Juul on me every day, and I hit it intermittently throughout the day.
How many people out of your friend group would you say has an e-cigarette or a Juul?
Almost all of my friends have e-cigarettes or Juuls. There's probably 2 people in my friend group that don't have them, but they both use everyone else's.
So many people have Juuls or the e-cigarettes in general just because it's so less taboo than smoking cigarettes every day?
I do think so. I think having a Juul almost has less of a negative connotation than having to go outside or buy a pack of cigarettes.
How much a week would you say you spend on Juul pods, or how much was the Juul initially, or the Sworn that you first bought?
When I first bought my Sworn, it was $60, but then I got a Juul, which was only $20, and I buy a package of Juul pods probably every 5 days, which is about $20 every time. So it's definitely an expensive habit.
And do all your other friends have the same kind of habit? Do they always have their Juul on them, or have to constantly buy pods as well?
All my friends always have their Juul on them, and everybody always seems to be texting each other looking for pods if we don't want to have to buy them.
So you hear all these things such as just because it's better doesn't make it good. Do you think anyone really takes this into consideration, especially on college campuses, like a lot of people did with cigarettes?
I really don't think people think about it when it comes to the Juul or e-cigarettes in general, just because there's a lot less research on them than we have about cigarettes, especially because it came out only a few years ago.
So you hear a lot of negative things about Juuls and more research coming out. Do you think that's really going to stop anybody from using it, or do you believe that they're bad?
I do think Juuls are bad. I think that really any mysterious vapor that you're inhaling probably isn't good for you. But I do wish that I hadn't bought my Juul in the first place, because had I not, I would have never been addicted to nicotine. Where now, I don't want to say I'm dependent on it, but I do use it every day and kind of look for my Juul if I don't have it. But here I am, so.
So to start, did you ever smoke cigarettes or have a nicotine addiction?
I would occasionally smoke cigarettes, like in college and high school, but no, I never was addicted.
In today's world, being surrounded by e-cigarettes or Juuls, do you think they're going to have a negative outcome in the end?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we don't know anything about them yet, so as of right now, everybody's saying that they're so much healthier than cigarettes, but like really nobody knows. I mean, everybody smokes cigarettes for years and years without anybody thinking there'd be consequences, and look at where we are now.
So how did you hear about the e-cigarettes or Juuls, and when did you first try it?
So my boyfriend's little sister smoked an e-cigarette, and then we got one, and we first tried it probably a year ago.
Now, does your boyfriend still have one?
He does. He still smokes it regularly.
But you never actually purchased one yourself?
No, I didn't.
So even though you never purchased one yourself, would you still say you had somewhat of an addiction to it?
Oh yeah. Every time I saw one, I'd grab it out of people's hands and be like, "Can I have a hit of your jewel?" I probably smoked it more than he did.
And what is your overall opinion on the Juul?
I mean, assuming that it's healthier than a cigarette, sure, it's not that bad, but I developed like an allergic reaction to it, and this was at least 2 months ago, and I'm still dealing with some issues, so I'm not a fan of them anymore.
Especially regarding young adults, do you think it will have a worse outcome than cigarettes in years to come?
Who knows? I mean, kids are literally in middle school and high school taking bathroom breaks at school to smoke their Juuls. I mean, I don't know.
Why do you think the Juul is so much more appealing than the cigarettes have been in the past?
Because it tastes like candy. They taste good. Cigarettes are gross. I mean, the barrier to entry there is that nobody wants to smoke a cigarette. Like, it's nasty. And a Juul tastes good, and they're sleek and cool, and everybody has one.
Cool. Do you personally Juul?
No, I've never jeweled.
Why do you think so many people think that e-cigs are better than smoking cigarettes in today's world?
Because they're like the physical factor of it, you don't have to light it up and like there's no smoke that goes everywhere. So I guess in people's minds it could seem less gross and there's no smell associated with it. So
Would anyone ever pressure you to smoke a cigarette?
no.
Since you don't personally own one, do you feel pressure to smoke them whenever you're on campus or out at bars or just in general?
Yeah, like all the time, like at least one time every time we'll go out, so like 3 times a week. Like people will be like, hit this, and I'll be like, nah. Or like even in the library, people will ask.
How many of your friends, specifically in college, have an e-cigarette of some kind?
I can name more that do than more that don't.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
That you know of, did any of them smoke cigarettes previously or have a nicotine addiction previously?
No. It's not like everyone was smoking cigs and then like used the Juul to curb the habit. They like just jumped on the Juul bandwagon.
Do you think they are more prevalent specifically on college campuses, and why?
Yeah, I for sure think they're on college campuses more than not because you see other people using them and so it's kind of a word of mouth effect.
Do you think the fact that it is vapor rather than actual smoke makes people feel better about hitting it more often?
For sure.
Overall, what is your opinion on the e-cigarette or Juul?
Since I've never used one, it's kind of irrelevant to me and like I'm happy I haven't fallen into the like feeling so dependent on something. And it saves money not using it, so.
Would you say that a lot of your friends are addicted to it that have them?
Yeah.
Do you think in the long run there's going to be a negative effect, kind of like we found out with cigarettes?
I don't see why not. Like, something that's that addictive and that people depend on so much, like, can't be good for you.